What is up, my Snarf Goblins? Today, I'm going to be trying to listen to all of Taylor Swift's albums in one sitting without, well, it was originally going to be without crying of boredom, but it's going to be pretty hard to sit through all of them. So I think that I'm going to switch the challenge to trying to just get through all of them. And here are the rules. I'm only listening to one version of each album. If there's a deluxe version, then I'm going to listen to the not deluxe version just to cut down on the time a little bit. I could take a 5 minute break between each album in case I need to go grab some food or like take a crap or something. And I can't have my volume lower than half. So those are the rules of the challenge. And I'm going to be starting it right now. And I'm pretty sure it's like 10:40 right now. So we'll see how long this takes. Also, usually I have a light right here to make it a little bit brighter in here, but that overheats after a while, and this is going to be a long video, so I'm not going to be using it this time. Just letting you know that's why. All right, let's get started on the first self-titled album.
It isn't fair. Beware. People care about their hair. Anxious for the home where I lay my head, and I cry about your mean jokes in my bed. A is for anxiety that fools provoke when they looking at my head.
So, I finished the first album, and that was long. These songs are really fucking long. This challenge might be a little bit harder than I was expecting to be. Also, I'm skipping the Teardrops on My Guitar pop version. I'm not going to listen to a different version of the same song because the first one was really boring. But to be honest, all these songs are like, they all sound like pretty much exactly the same. This is literally like stuff I would fall asleep to on a long car trip when I was a kid. This is like really boring music. Also, she has like zero vocal range. She sings the exact same tone every single song, and all the instrumental sounds the exact same every song. All the hooks are really boring. All of the lyrics are really shallow. And literally, okay, also, her songs, like themes, they will literally be about one of three things, and that's it. They're either about a relationship, finding your place in the world, or self-esteem. That if it, and also self-esteem and finding your place in the world are like rare. Like 90% of these songs are just about relationships, and they're so vague on the relationship that none of them are very interesting. There's only two songs on this album that really stood out to me, and that is Mary's Song and Invisible. Mary's Song is basically about these two kids growing up to with each other like a boy and a girl, and they fall in love later. And the instrumental was really boring throughout that one too, but at least I had like a fun little story to listen to. But sadly, this isn't a real story because um, they grow old together in the song. So this didn't happen to Taylor, or if it is a real story, it didn't happen to her. In which case, I mean, like, I'm fine with people telling other people's stories and songs, but you got to add your own thing to it. You know what I mean? Like, this is their song and this is my take on this is their story and this is my take on their story. Because otherwise, I'm like, why do I give a fuck about these random people? I'm here to listen to your music, not some other person's song. But also, another song that stood out to me was Invisible. Um, it's basically about her liking this guy that likes another girl. And basically, she's like, she doesn't even know you. And I want to love you. So you should be with me. But he doesn't know her either. And ironically, the way she feels about him is exactly the same way he feels about this other girl. But she's sort of disregarding her feelings and she's sort of disregarding his feelings and like saying that she would be better even though she has the exact same feelings as him. So I don't know how she didn't see the irony in that when she wrote it, but it was pretty like nice of a respite to actually have some sort of substance in the songs. Because I mean, like, they're just so boring. Like these relationship songs are like a slog to get through. They're like, if I want to listen to a relationship song, I want to hear specifics. You know what I mean? Like, why did the relationship go bad? Like, I want to know the details of the fight. You know what I mean? Because that's what makes it interesting. Don't just say like, we fought and broke up, and I used to be with you, but now I'm not, and there's still feelings there, but now I have to get over them. That's basically like almost all of these songs. Or it's about like, we had this nice moment together and we're dating. It's like all just that. It's like, I love you, or it's I broke up with you. It's all. It's literally they're so boring. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. Whenever I'm holding up my fingers or like this thing, that's the number of the song I'm on the album. So just in case you didn't know. Also, I didn't tell you about this rule because I forgot to earlier, but I'm not allowed to do anything to entertain myself throughout this whole thing. The only thing I'm allowed to do is work on my computer. So like I have some school that I got to do. That's the only thing I'm allowed to do while listening to this. So I'm not allowed to distract myself with other things. The only thing I'm allowed to do is do school cuz I got to be productive. I can't just waste all day. Even though I basically am just wasting one of my days off listening to this garbage cuz I mean, Mary's song was a nice respite, but most of this album was pretty hard to get to. I was really bored the whole time. Anyway, let me see what the next album is. The next one is Fearless. This came out in 2008, and there's 13 songs. Oh man, there's so many songs in this album that are 4 minutes long or longer. Her songs are so repetitive. Why does she need to make them that long? Like, whatever. Let's just fucking get started with this bullshit already.
Try to run me through, hold on, think again. Don't you know what you're starting? But you sure we got the clue? How bad this we go? Don't you know? No more art.
Okay, so that was the second album, Fearless. Let me just say the instrumentals have improved a lot in this album. It's a lot easier to sit through. It's still boring and not that good, but it is a lot easier to sit through than the first one. Let me just say though, like, this bitch must be allergic to a rhyme scheme because I don't think I've heard a single rhyme in this song. She's just yapping the whole time. Like this, like yeah, she's singing, but like there's no rhyme scheme. So the only thing for you to really attach through to is the instrumental or the lyrics, and neither of those are very good. They're just kind of mid. Um, remember? Okay, so the song "You Belong with Me." Remember when that song was playing a bunch back in like 2010? It's like she wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts. Remember that song? Taylor Swift is literally just being a pick me girl throughout that whole song. That song is ass. I don't know how people like it. Also, what is her point throughout this song? Because she's saying these things like they're positive. It's like she cares about her appearance. I don't. She has extracurriculars and is a go-getter. I am not, but you should be with me anyway. It's like, dude, sweatpants don't make you down to earth. That's ironically even more shallow than not thinking that. So, whatever. Also, like, damn, bitch, how many relationships have you had? She was 18 when this album released. I looked it up while I was listening to it. Like, how many dudes has she dated by now? Like 12? How many times do you fall in love a year? Like, Jesus Christ. You know how many times I've been in love? Once, and it lasted like a week. Like, and I'm 18. She has been in love like 12 times more than I have. Probably even more than that. I wasn't even really keeping count, and that's just crazy. Let me see what other notes I wrote down. Oh yeah, we get you're from a small town. You can stop mentioning it like every other song. Oh yeah, and the song White Horse, I thought it was kind of funny how she's like, "My life's not a fairy tale. I shouldn't have expected that." But in pretty much every single other one of her songs, she portrays like some sort of fairy tale relationship. For the songs where the relationship goes well, it's like a fairy tale relationship. So I thought that was kind of funny, and like even whenever they break up, it's sort of like in a fairy tale relationship esque way because it's always super vague. And it's like another thing I don't really like about her music is anytime there's a song about a relationship going bad, it's always just we fought. She never says why they fought. It's just we fought. Like okay, let me look through because there's this one specific song that I wrote down. Yeah, it's The Way I Loved You. She like literally goes on and on in this song about how she's completely head over heels in love with this guy. And then she's just like, and now I fucking hate him. Why? They fought. Why did they fight? Fuck you, we're not telling you. You're just gonna have to believe that it was for a valid reason. You don't need context to enjoy the song. Just enjoy your slop, you little content piggy. Like, the hell? It's really boring. It's less boring than the first album. So like the instrumentals have improved, but it's still pretty boring. I do like it when the banjo comes in every now and then though. Just give a little bit of twang. I just like the banjo. But yeah, these songs were pretty bad. Oh, also for the song 15, she was talking about this relationship she had with her friend back in like freshman year of school. And whenever her friend's boyfriend broke up with her, she cried also, which is a little bit weird because like it wasn't her relationship. Back in my like, I was actually the same age as her, and I experienced the exact same thing with one of my friends. They broke up with from a long relationship, and I had felt zero emotional attachment whatsoever. I felt bad for him because like obviously it sucks that you broke up in your relationship, but like I was just trying to like motivate him to get over it. I didn't care though. Like I wasn't gonna cry over someone else's relationship. I was not invested in it at all. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just a woman thing that I don't understand. But it's not your relationship. I don't get why you get emotional over it. Like I get feeling bad for your friend, but that's about the extent of it that I get. Also, there's the song called Love Story where she tells a story of a guy proposing to her. So that was clearly a made up story because she's was 18 when this album dropped and she's had like 17 relationships throughout this thing and there's also no way a guy actually proposed to her. Also, in the song, she says that she was completely in love with this guy like the whole time and then at the end of the song he proposes to her. So why aren't you married to him then? So I guess that was just made up. If you were gonna make up a story, could you at least make it interesting? Because like I'm bored out of my mind here. Also, yeah, I paused my music for like 10 seconds to go open window because it's dark as hell in here. If I'm gonna be sitting in a dark room all day listening to music, I at least want to keep my window open. I don't. I know. I'm sorry. I'm lingering on. I really don't want to get on the next album. But I have to. So I'm gonna go put my contacts in, and then I will start this next one. Okay, before I start the other album, let me just say, Swifties is a really dumb fan base name. If I ever hear any of you fuckers calling yourself Snarfies, then I'm gonna kill you. Don't do that shit. Okay, so this next album is called Speak Now. Sorry I didn't plug my mic in, but I thought I was kind of done talking, but no. The next album is Speak Now, and it's 14 songs. Seems like, excuse me, it'll be at least an hour, so I guess it's time to start that. I only woke up like 4 hours ago and I already almost slept from listening to that fucking album, dude. So the one I just listened to is Speak Now, and it was really boring. There were the fast songs were like they were bad, but like they were listenable and they didn't put me to sleep, but the slow songs were the most boring shit I think I've ever listened to. First of all, there's a few things I noticed about this album. First off, the song that's named after the album, Speak Now, is one of the most like conceited songs I think I've ever listened to. It's basically about this guy that Taylor likes that's getting married to a girl that she thinks is kind of a bitch. So she shows up during the wedding, and during the Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace part, she basically goes off saying that like he shouldn't marry her and that he should be with her instead and that she'll be waiting for him outside the church. That is such a bitch thing to do if that story isn't fake. You do realize that you had months while they were planning this wedding to tell him that, right? You decided to wait until the actual fucking wedding. Do you think you're a fucking Disney Channel main character? What kind of bullshit is that? The song White Horse gets funnier and funnier the more I listen to her music because she actually does treat her life like it's a fucking fairy tale with this bullshit. Also, another thing I've noticed about her music is that she romanticizes childhood a lot throughout her music. Like she's always using very childish terminology. Like during her song, I think it was called like Revenge or something. She's like, go sit in the corner and think about what you did. Like that's something you tell to a child. And then a metaphor she uses in that song is like stealing toys from the other kids in the playground won't get you very many friends, which there's layers to that, by the way, not in the way she intended, because number one, that's an extremely childish thing to say, and it almost makes it seem like you're the childish one in the situation. And two, she's objectifying the guy she's talking about as referring to him like a toy to just play with, which is kind of fucked up when you think about it. Imagine a guy saying that about her. That's just rude. So that was pretty weird. Let me look at some of my other notes. Yeah, another thing where she's like romanticizing childhood in the song "Innocent," I think it is. She's so there's a line that says 32 and we're still growing up. Makes me feel like I'm assuming that Taylor Swift didn't have a very enjoyable childhood, so or she's just extremely like a slave to nostalgia or something. So that's kind of weird. I mean, I still can't believe the fucking like "Speak Now" song. Like, if she did that, she's actually such a bitch. Like, that is so uncool to do. You like, if you really didn't want him to marry that girl, you had a lot of time to tell him that beforehand. This was like 2008. This was 2010. Just shoot him a phone call or something. Like, even if you're out of town, like you did not have to do all that. This isn't a Disney Channel original, dude. You can't just interrupt the wedding like that. That's fucked up. The Speak Now Forever Hold Your Peace part is just a formality. You're like that's not actually a time to speak up. You speak up beforehand. You because what if they really did have a happy relationship? You're just fucking ruining the ceremony like a bitch. Anyway, let me see. Oh yeah, in the song "Mean," I thought was pretty funny was that she's talking about this guy that physically abused her, and the thing that she calls him throughout the whole song is mean. That's like the most Disney Channel thing I've ever heard an abuser called. You're mean. You abused me. You're mean. Like, you couldn't think of anything more substanceful than that. It's like she takes an experience from her life and she tells the story in the most surface level, vague, easily digestible to the masses way possible. It's like she's putting zero soul into any of this music. It's like she's just making it as schlocky and widest appeal as possible just so that a lot of people will listen to it. Because, like, this music is so, like, surface level. It's like the least deep. Like, this music has zero layers. It is the least deep music I think I've ever heard in my life. Oh yeah, another part of her romanticizing childhood is there's a song on here that's called "Never Grow Up." It's basically about her talking to us about a sleeping baby, which is weird because I'm pretty sure she doesn't have any children. So this either is a story that she made up or she's just like I don't know, like creating some sort of narrative in her head about someone else's sleeping baby, which is a little bit weird. But yeah, this was a pretty fucking boring album, dude. I really don't want to do the rest of this challenge because that, like, the other two albums, like, they were bad, but this one's really fucking bad. Also, on The deluxe version of the album, that's where that really shitty Drops of Jupiter cover is. And, that song is actually decent. I think it might, out of everything I've heard, that is the best song. Because I've heard that one before. And it's ironic because that's the only one of her songs that I've listened to that she didn't write. It's a fucking cover. So, yeah, long story short, everything I listened to so far is absolutely shit. I am so fucking bored. From the lyrics of this song, though, like, if this is how Taylor actually thinks about a lot of stuff, I think she's either very delusional or she's a sociopath or a psychopath or something. Because, like, this is not how a normal person thinks. Like, she literally thinks that she's the main character and that, like, what she wants and she feels matters more than anyone else does. And also, another thing I noticed is that, like, every single one of her songs is literally just about a guy. Like, she basically has no identity outside of the guy that she's currently likes. Like, outside of that, zero identity. It's so fucking weird. It's like she's a Xerox of a person. She's not even like it's like what somebody's idea of a teenage girl would be if they never were one and they were only like an outside person looking in. It's like an alien's idea of what a teenage girl in love would be like. It's fucking weird, dude. She's like an alien or something. Anyway, I'm going to go take my break and then I guess I'll come back and listen to Red, which is the next album. Man, you guys don't realize how fucking long these albums do. Like, 2 songs is usually like 8 to 10 minutes because they're so fucking long. Like, the average length of her songs is like 4 minutes and 20 seconds. That's like how on average how long her songs are, and they're really boring. Like, it's hard, man. As you can see by like the footage before, like how much I was fidgeting and like almost falling asleep, you do not want to do this challenge, dude. Unless you're a white woman, I'm guessing, because white women like this music for some reason, but don't do this if you're a dude. Like, this is torture, man. Anyway, I'm gonna go take that break now. Okay, so I just checked and I have 8 fucking albums that I have to get to before I'm done. And I won't be able to mentally do that if I don't have some way, something to do while listening to this music. So one of my rules earlier was that I can't have any kind of entertainment, but I won't be able to beat this challenge if that's the case. So I'm bending the rules a little bit and I'm giving myself a single note card to draw on. And once I fill this up, then that's it. That's all the drawing space that I have. So, and also, I have myself an emergency shot just in case I can't handle it anymore. So, let's go into this next album, Red, with a fresh state of mind because I cleansed my palate with 1 beer by MF Doom. So, hopefully, I'll be ready and energized for this next chapter. Oh yeah, one last thing before I start this next album. I'm not going to be holding up my fingers to show you the number of the songs anymore because I have to hold them up for like over a minute just for them to show up for like half a second in the time lapse. So it's just not really worth it. And whenever I start getting to like the teens, I have to hold up the paper and with a small number on it, and it's just hard to read. So I'm not going to do that anymore. So you're just going to have to guess, I guess, at what point in the album I'm at. Sorry. I mean, it's not like you're able to see my facial expressions that much anyway. I would like to give a round of applause to this album for being the first album where I actually liked one of the songs and added it to my liked songs. So, round of applause to Red. The song was hold on, let me check. I Knew You Were Trouble. That's the one that back in the day people would make like the Screaming Goat videos of. It's a throwback and honestly a bop. The album honestly started off pretty strong, but after 22, it was pretty much just boring mid songs. I mean, it was listenable. I didn't get super bored throughout the whole thing like I did for the other albums. Like, I wasn't falling asleep by the end or like wanting to quit the challenge, but uh it was honestly, it was not that bad. I'd say that this is the first album by her that actually has good music on it. The other albums like have shit music in my opinion. This one is the first album that has like actually good music. It's not really my cup of tea, but I can understand why, like what the appeal is of the music. I don't think it's absolute garbage like I do with their other stuff. And I didn't really have to use either my emergency shot, which was served by my parents legally, by the way, and or my little note card. But since I did finish my exam, oh yeah, by the way, I finished my final exam during the second last song of the album, so I drew this little goat because it made me think of the I Knew You Were Trouble song. So yeah, it was decent. Not really a lot to say about this song, except she actually has songs that aren't just about a guy every single time. I mean, they're still shallow, but that's something, I guess. So yeah, first decent album. I'd give this album, like purely musically wise, not how much I liked it, probably like a 5. It was good. Like how much I liked it though, probably like a 2 or 3 maybe. I didn't really like it that much. As like a musical album though, it's fine. I think maybe it should be a 6. It's just that every like okay, the songs that Taylor Swift makes that are actually good are like the pop songs that are fast. Like I like rock songs and like slow songs, but hers are just not good. They're too long. They're not that deep. Like she's basically just telling a story about her life in like a really mundane way, and I don't find her a particularly interesting story, and I don't find any of her experiences particularly interesting, so they're very boring to me because a lot of the times her stories are just about dating a guy, and I don't find that very interesting. So, I mean, it's not like maybe it's just me, like it's not necessarily something like wrong with her music, but dating a guy for every single song and like the very vague relationship troubles that come along with that. We fight every now and then. I haven't heard that in the past like 50 songs I listened to, but yeah, it's not that bad, honestly. So, you know what though? I am going to go take a break to go celebrate graduating. The next album I'm going to listen to is 1989. I'm guessing that's the year she was born, cuz she was 18 when that came out in 2008. So, yeah, that one's going to be next. Not really much to say about that album, to be honest. It was just a lot better than her other ones. Also, she didn't have like any insane things that she was talking about like with the other albums. So I think she's finally a normal person at this point in her life. So congratulations, Taylor, for not being a psychopath. Um yeah, I guess I'm just gonna end this commentary section off early because I really don't have that much to say about this album. All right, let's address the elephant in the room. I failed the challenge. I didn't listen to all of her albums in one day. My phone was running pretty low since I was using it to record those really long, time lapses. But also, I probably would have had to wake up way earlier to actually finish them all in a single day because I still have 7 left I have to get through. Um, so I'm just splitting up between a couple of days. It turns out that it never really was about the challenge. It was about the friends we made along the way. I'm just joking. Um, it's really more about just like if her music really was that bad, that's what made this whole thing a challenge. So so far it is really that bad because there's only one album that was decent. But yeah, I guess let's get on to the next one.
I get no kick from champagne. Alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. Go tell me why shouldn't it be true? I get a kick out of brew. There's only one beer left. Rapping, screaming all in our ears like we're deaf. Tempt me, do a number on the label. Beat up all the MCs and drink them under the table like it's on me. Put it on my tab, kid. However you get there, foot it, cap it, on horse it. You leave it on your face, forfeit. I crush the mic, hold it like a heat. He might toss it. Let him tell him they stole it. He told her he lost it. He told him get off it in a.
With how much people hate on Taylor Swift, going into this challenge, I expected all of her music to just be like completely basic white girl garbage. And some of it is that, but this album was actually pretty good. 1989. Like, again, not my cup of tea, but it was okay. There are a lot of songs on here that are just like meh, boring. I mean, that's just par for the course at this point. But there are a lot more high points in the album than all the other ones so far. I remember hearing a lot of these as a kid, like so that a lot of them are okay. Like back when I was probably 13, a lot of these are being played on the radio crap ton. So like oh, stuff like Welcome to New York, Blank Space, Shake It Off, Bad Blood. Those are all songs that were played a crap ton back when I was young. Also, at the end of this album, there is a recording of her. Basically, you know how artists will sometimes do stuff at the end of the album where they're like give a little bit of introspective on the making of their music. She does that basically, and apparently, all of her the way she writes all of her songs is like completely random each time, which it does explain why her quality is so inconsistent. But yeah, so that was 1989. Um, I am kind of curious why she has like three different versions of this album because it was just okay. I mean, it was the best one so far, but that's not saying much. I really don't want to listen to another one. These things are like just not that fun to listen to. Also, she still writes every song about relationships. It does get really stale just to hear about a relationship in like a million different ways in a single album. She actually says in one of the songs of the album, like, now you know why I've spent my life trying to explain this one thing. And I'm just like, you explained it, you're done. You don't got to keep explaining relationships. Please move on to a different topic in your life. Unless this is literally the only thing in your life is relationships. And you're just like, that basic of a person where you have zero life experiences outside of relationships, zero hobbies, nothing that you do. Like, I don't know, you don't go driving around a track or something, or you don't go paintballing or bowling, or like, you don't do literally anything but just have relationships and write songs. It's like she's some, like, or maybe she does do other stuff, but she just doesn't write songs about them. It's really boring to just hear about the exact same thing every time. I don't know how Taylor Swift fans will be able to sit down and listen to a whole album and be like, "Yeah, that was a fun experience. I got a lot out of that." Cuz like it's just the same topics every single, album. I think I could probably count the amount of songs that weren't about relationships out of everything in her discography I've listened to so much on a single hand. That's how many there are. It's like probably two hands, but I've listened to five albums now. That's not that many songs out of it, and I definitely wouldn't be like 10. It would be around like six or seven that weren't about relationships. It's not that many, and it's just so tiring. I will say though, the songs are a lot more catchy now. They're not just like storytelling songs over a really shitty beat with really shitty lyrics. Also, a lot of Taylor's singing sounds like rhyming because of the way she says it, but she still doesn't rhyme. She like She rhymes in the same way that like Orange rhymes with door hinge, low key, but like even less than that. I'm pretty sure that she rhymed free with feet at one point in one of the songs or something like that. Really dookie rhymes. Like they just aren't rhymes. She doesn't rhyme in any of her songs, which I mean, rhyming isn't a requirement in a song. Like I don't want to feel like I'm harping on that a lot, but it does feel like you have zero lyric writing talent, especially since all of them are so shallow. It's like the only thing. Like I will say though, after her first three albums, she actually learned how to make good music. I don't know how the hell she got popular before her fourth album because those first three sucked, but she's okay at making music now. I think I could say confidently that she's a decent music artist at this point in her career because I don't want to tear my ears off listening to this shit or to stop listening to it like I did for the first three. They were so bad. But what the? She has a Future feature on this song? Okay, on this next album, she has a Future feature. That's actually crazy. Bro, what kind of self respecting rapper actually features on a Taylor Swift song? That's crazy. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about 1989. It was okay. Her. I feel like I could just quit the challenge right now with a good enough idea of her music, if I didn't listen to the next six albums, just because all of her songs are about the exact same thing. If you've heard one Taylor Swift song, you've heard every single Taylor Swift song. They're about being confident and being in a relationship. That's every single one, and it gets so boring. Like I don't know. I guess I should move on to the other one. I should start the next album. It is called Reputation. So yippee. Okay, one more note before I go into this next album. Because I don't want to waste my whole day off listening to her music, and also because a lot of her music isn't really noteworthy from the last two albums. Like there weren't any really noteworthy parts of it that really stood out. I am going to probably be playing like Fallout or something while I listen to this because it's just going to make it way easier on me, and I'll actually be able to get through all of them. Because if I have to sit there with no entertainment to listen to all these albums, then I'm probably just going to listen like one a day, and I want to get this video out a little bit faster, so that's what I'm doing.
Astro. Yeah. Sun is down, freezing cold. That's how we already know. When it's here, my dog will probably do it for a Louis belt. That's just all he know. They don't know nothing else. I try to show.
Okay, so I just finished her Reputation album, and this is basically her Destroy Your Lonely phase, and it's really cringy. Like, it's really, really cringy. That whole line in that song, it's like, look what you made me do. The line was like, sorry, the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because she's dead. Dude, that is so cringe. Oh my god. Which, honestly, because of how cringe this album was, it was a lot more fun to listen to. But it's pretty bad. I don't know what controversy she was into that made her make this album, but the only thing I can think of is people saying her music's bad, which making a whole album about that is pretty lame because everyone has people that don't like their music. I don't know what else it could have been though. I don't care enough to look it up, but if this was, no matter what this drama this was a response to, it was a bad response because it just made her seem really cringy and lame. So, not much to say other than that. So, the next album is Lover. I guess I'm going to move on to that one. I got to take a shit first, though.
I wake up
Okay, so that was the hold on, let me check. The Lover album. I see that we're still in Taylor's Destroyer Lonely phase, because the cringe lyrics on this one are pretty bad too. Uh jeez, it is so cringe. Also, like, I don't know if this is just me, but whenever people are like, "Ha, I don't care about you anymore. I'm so over you." That is so cringe, dude. Because, like, nobody says that if they're actually over a person. They just stop caring and they move on with their life. There's this, I think the very first song on this album is I Forgot That You Existed. This bitch literally made a whole song about how she forgot this guy existed. And after, because, like, she had a bad relationship with him and it was a great feeling. And then she went and made a whole ass song about him. You do realize that's only going to make the memory of him stronger, right? You're literally giving the memory of what he did more significance by doing that. Unless it's a fake song, which I'm assuming a lot of hers are, because if not, then she would be like one of the biggest sluts in the music history with how many boyfriends that she has. It would actually be insane. But let's see. Not really much to say about this album. There's just a lot of really cringe lines where she's trying to act like, she's talking down to people because she, like, shares some of her values in this album. I wasn't really paying attention that much because it was really boring, but she was mainly just like, when she basically saw something that someone didn't like, she was just like, talk to them like a little kid. It's like, you're being too loud. You need to quiet down, sis. Also, she does that thing where she's like, all women are queens. We all wear crowns. That's just a really cringe thing to say. Like, also not true. I mean, not even in the metaphorical sense that's true. What about, like, child abusers? Are they queens? Queens over their children? Yeah, they're queens. Fucking Bloody Mary, bruh. Like, what are you talking about? It's like just a really annoying, like, a lot of feminist themes in this album, and not the good kind of feminist themes, just the really cringe and bad ones. So that was Lover. It was bad. I guess I gotta listen to Folklore first. Um, I really hope Taylor stops being Destroyer Lonely because it's really cringe to listen to all this. And Secondhand Embarrassment hits me like a freight train. So this is just like a slog to get through. Honestly, I might just stop here for the day. It's pretty bad. I've lost most of my motivation to continue. So if I just got through two or three, hold on, yeah, I got through three today. So I could stop if I wanted and get through the other four tomorrow after work. I don't know if I'm gonna want to sit through that tomorrow though. I don't want to sit through it right now though. I'm telling you that. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna take a break first. See how I feel. All right, guys. It's been a while since I listened to a Taylor Swift album because I kind of had to purge, so I'm back at it again, and now I'm going to listen to Folklore since I have some time before I have to go to work.
You falling in love. You falling in love. Honey. All them other niggas lame and you know it now. When the real nigga hold you down, you're supposed to drown. Bam. You falling in love. Bam. You falling in love. Honey. What you doing in the club on a Thursday? She say she only here for my girl birthday. They order champagne but still look thirsty. Rock forever 21 but just turned 30. I know I gotta.
All right, I just finished, what was this album called again? Folklore. And Taylor's out of her Destroyer Lonely phase, so she's not saying a bunch of really cringe, edgy stuff in this one. So that was definitely easier to get through. So I have a few notes that I wrote while listening to this. First off, there was a song on the album called This Is Me Trying, and I thought she meant I'm going to actually try on this song for once, but sadly it was just another dumb relationship song. Illicit Affairs is a song about her cheating like hundreds of times. which I hope is a fake story because I'm assuming a lot of her songs are fake stories because it just there's no way she'd be as respected in the music community as she is if she was just a massive slut, right? Like, and if she was also a cheater, like, I know being a slut is a lot more acceptable nowadays, but being a cheater is like not. Like, that is not cool. So hopefully that is another made up story. Another thing is the song Betty. This song was kind of confusing to me because does she like take stories that people send her and then make them into songs or something? Because at first I thought this was her making a song about a friend she had named Betty, but near the end of the song I'm like, wait, is this about a girl named Betty and her relationship with a guy? Because she was talking about like showing up at this guy's party and wanting them to like make out or something. And I'm just like, well, Taylor's not gay to my knowledge, so this is probably another girl named Betty. So if she takes other people's stories and makes them into songs, then I don't know. I guess that's probably what that was about, which kind of sucks, honestly, because it mentions in that song about how she was skateboarding by this guy's house. And I thought the thought of Taylor Swift skateboarding was really funny. So if this was somebody else, then it's not funny anymore because it's not Taylor skateboarding. But yeah, also the song Betty is about a girl fucking over this guy and then just making excuses like, oh, I was only 17. I didn't know what I was doing. Would you believe me if it was just a summer thing? What does that even mean? Just a summer thing? Like, what does that even fucking mean? As if like morals suddenly change with the seasons or like your mindset does? I mean, like, I know seasonal depression's a thing, but like that just a summer thing? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to do it next summer? Whatever the fucked up thing you did was. Really stupid logic. So, I mean, if I got that story from someone and they wanted me to make a song out of it, I wouldn't because they're just like, they did. I don't think she apologized for what she did in the song. She was just like, that was a really shitty thing to do. But would you believe me if it was just like one time thing? Well, she didn't even say one time thing. She said a summer thing. It's like I may do it next summer, but like until then, our relationship could be really cool. Also, there was this one song, Epiphany. Um, the intro to that song sounded really cool, and I thought it was about to be like, okay, she's switching up her style. This is going to be a cool song for once. But the moment her vocals kicked in, I was like, never mind. This is going to sound exactly the same as every other song. And it was, well, not exactly the same, but it sounded like really similar. While I was listening to this album, I made a Taylor Swift fortune teller. So it's pretty cool. You can pick who you want Taylor to be in the song. So we have Pick Me Girl, Bitch slash Psychopath, Victim, and Fairy Tale Princess. I'm going to choose my favorite one, which is Pick Me, Pickme. And as you can see in the inside, half of all of the things on the inside are just relationships because this is choosing what the song is going to be about. And more than half of her songs are about relationships. But I decided I had to think of other stuff to put on there. So our options are relationship, reputation, relationship again, or vague pop song. I think I'm going to go with Reputation. Reputation. I hope I didn't just misspell that like a dumbass, but I'm pretty sure I spelled it right. We're back on the same one, so I'll just choose Reputation again. Now we get to see what kind of song we get. We got Cringe. There's actually only one good one in here, and that's for Vague Pop Song. All the other ones say either Cringe, Garbage. If you choose Reputation, then it says, no, not Reputation. If you choose Made Up Story, it says unlistenable just because of Speak Now. Not all the made up stories are unlistenable, just that one. So it was so importantly, it's definitely her best song. I mean, sorry, her worst song by like a lot. Speak Now is like so garbage. I'm never listening to that shit again. It was like definitely her worst song. But obviously, like, don't take this seriously because I don't hate Taylor Swift. I think she has okay music sometimes, but I just thought it'd be funny to make because her songs are so predictable. Pretty much all of them fit on this thing. So, yeah. While I was listening to this, I also used more of my doodle paper. So if you want to look at my doodles, that's them. And yeah, I probably only have a little bit more time before I have to go to work, so I'm gonna spend that doing something else. All in all, I'd say this album is just Taylor going back to her roots as a mid pop artist that doesn't rhyme, uses really shallow metaphors. All of her music's really shallow, pretty much. She's not in her Destroy Lonely era or anything, but she's not like making very good music. Like, let me find an album to compare this to. This is like, let me scroll through because I don't really remember the names of all these. This album is sort of like Speak Now, or her. Yeah, it's pretty much like Speak Now, kind of. I would say that I was gonna say Fearless, but like that album was like decent. Like, it wasn't good, but it was decent. So I'm not gonna hate on that one. But I mean, I might hate on a little bit. I mean, it wasn't good, but it was just okay. It was listenable. Her first album kind of sucked. Her second album was listenable. Her third album was like like almost like unlistenable. I was so bored by the end. Red was decent. I think it was 1989. Decent. Reputation, I think it is. Really cringe. I mean, it was kind of funny how cringe it was, but it was still really cringe. Lovers, really cringe. Not as cringe as Reputation, but still really cringe. And then we have Folklore, which is just back to being mid. So, yeah, that's Folklore. And I'm going to go enjoy my time before work now. Hey, Snarf Goobers. I'm back from work. You know what that means. It's more Taylor Swift time. It was a short shift today, so coming back from work and listening to Taylor Swift won't make me want to myself, I think. So let's get right into it. Let's see what this next album is. Evermore. All right, so let's just hop right into it.
You're the only power. You're the only power. Thank you. You're the only power. You're the only power. Thank you. If your metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. Beautiful morning, you're the sun in my morning, babe. Nothing I wanted. Beautiful morning.
What's up, my silly snarfers? I just finished Evermore, and it was really boring. I didn't really have that many notes, except there's this one song that was about one of Taylor's friends, and she thinks her husband's cheating on her. And Taylor says some psycho shit about murdering him, or murdering not the husband, but the girl that he was cheating with. Which, does she even know he was married? First of all, second of all, pretty boring to tell someone else's life story and not yours. You know, because I'm here to listen to you. But it was a really boring album. I'm pretty flipping bored after that. That's all I have to say. Wasn't paying attention nearly as much as I was for the Folklore album, but it was still very boring. Or also, some of her lyrics was just like really cringe, and not in the Destroyer Lonely kind of way like it was with those other two albums, but sort of just in like a, she thinks it's deep, but it's like the most shallow, nothing, like wet fart of an emotion ever. But she thinks it's deep, so she like uses all these metaphors to describe it, and it's just like, I'm feeling sad or something like that. I don't know. That's just how it feels listening to this. Also, her features are really bad. She has two features: Bon Iver and The National. No Body, No Crime. I guess there's a third feature. I didn't really notice that one, but the last two are pretty bad. They're boring. So yeah. Oh, sorry. I don't know if talking too quietly. It's hard to be energetic after listening to that. It was, yeah. So let me see what's next. Next is Midnights. This came out in 2022, so hopefully this is one of the last ones I have to get through. So stay tuned, my Snarf Sigmas. Okay, so I was just scrolling through Taylor Swift discography. I have literally never seen an artist that released so many versions of the exact same fucking album as her. Literally every single one of her albums has a deluxe version. Like, just release the deluxe version as the main version. And this album, Midnights, that I'm about to listen to, literally has 3 versions. It has Midnights, it has Midnights 3 a.m. edition, and it has Midnights the Till Dawn edition. Like, bruh, just release it in one album. These all came out the same year. I know you weren't cooking this shit up. Like, just wait. If you want to add more songs, just wait. Why are you releasing so many different versions? You know how inconvenient it is to scroll through all this shit on Spotify to get to my next album? Like, okay, look, here I am at the Midnights album, the regular edition. Let me count how many I have to scroll through. And just remember, it's not just a picture of the album and the name. I have to scroll through the album and every single song on the album before I get to the next one. Let me count how many albums there are in between to the next one I actually have to listen to on my list. All right. We have 1, which is Midnight's 3 a.m. edition. 2, Midnight's Till Dawn edition. 3, Speak Now Taylor's version. 4, 1989 Taylor's version. 5, 1989 Taylor's version deluxe. And then the Tortured Poets Department. I literally had to scroll through 5 different albums that were just remakes. And I know why she's doing the Taylor's version shit. Because of all the legal reasons, were because she wants to own her whatever the originals are called. But like, Jesus Christ, you don't need to make a Taylor's version of the regular version and the deluxe version. The deluxe version would be the definitive version. So all you have to do is make a Taylor's version of the deluxe edition and then release that one. It's not like in the deluxe edition you're like adding in songs like in a different order than they were regularly. You're just slapping on a bunch to the end. So just release it as the deluxe version. Anyone who doesn't like the extra songs could just like replay the album. It's so stupid, bro. Like what the hell, bro? The deluxe version literally only has 1 extra song on it. It's literally just Bad Blood featuring Kendrick Lamar, which first off, Kendrick Lamar, that's low-key an L for featuring on a Taylor song. Let me just get that out of the way. But literally, she made a deluxe version of an album that another one I have to scroll through on Spotify to add 1 fucking song. She could have just added that on the regular album. It's like, this is low-key retarded. Like, I don't know why she's doing this. She literally could just release the deluxe edition and that's it. There's no way she needs to release all these different versions. It's definitely just to bank off of like people re-listening to the album multiple times on release, because like there's literally no reason for her to do this other than that. That is like so scummy and stupid. That's like scummy, cheap, like creatively bankrupt. And it's also annoying because I have to scroll through all this shit. Like you may think I'm overacting. Let me show you how annoying it is to scroll through this. Hold on, let me make sure you get a good view. This is how annoying it is to scroll to the next album I have to listen to. There. Now I'm at the next album. Look at all the unnecessary scrolling. I have to do that for every single one of her albums. There's literally like 2 deluxe editions and a remake between every single album I'm scrolling through. It's the dumbest shit ever. Okay, rant over. Back to the regular content in the video.
Yo, MF Doom. It's fantastic. What up, nigga? Crackin', boy. Man, these rap session, man, shit is bugged out, man. What the fuck, man? Niggas run their mouth, talking everything, man. Everything critical. Rap snitches, telling all their business. Sit in the court and be their own star winners.
So I just finished the album. It was Midnight, right? Yeah, Midnights. I guess I was too quick to speak on saying that Taylor was done with her Destroy Lonely phase, because there's a lot of really cringe edgelord lines in this. I wrote some notes down. In the song Vigilante Shit, I think the title alone should give away how that's stupid and it's like a lot of main character. I'm the main character of the world type energy. In the song Question, there's more cringe main character shit. In the song, okay, also there's a really cringe line. The song Karma, the chorus is literally "Karma is my boyfriend." That is really dumb. That sounds like a line a 13-year-old would write. And in the song Anti-Hero, no truer Taylor Swift bar has ever been said when she said, "The as I get older, I never get wiser." I actually agree with her. All these songs sounds like they were written by a teenager. Also, something I noticed about this album, her production has majorly gone up in quality over time. Like, not just in this album, like gradually her production's been going up. Which, like, at the start of a lot of her songs, I listened to the intro for a few seconds and I'm like, dang, this intro's pretty good. But then the moment her boring ass voice starts singing, I'm just like, because she is the most bland singer I have ever listened to. Zero range, zero change, same thing every single time. It is so boring, so boring. No matter what the song's production is, every single song sounds the exact same because she sings the exact same way every song. She has barely any vocal range. She doesn't even rhyme. All the songs are boring. They're about boring ass shit, so you can't even stay interested from that. No rhyme schemes that are interesting or unique. All the metaphors are super vague and surface level. Sorry to blow up on you there, but I don't know. I was trying to do this bit where during the time lapse I just stared at the camera and didn't move the whole time. So maybe I'm just grumpy because that kind of made my neck hurt a little bit. But this album was not good, but it wasn't like unlistenable or like absolutely dog shit. It was like just kind of bad. There were half the songs I'd say were like a 4 or 5 out of 10 with like 3 or 4 1 out of 10s. So it was like just on the cusp of like garbage while still being like just not terrible enough for me to get through it. I don't know, man. This was very dookie, I'm not gonna lie. So I was thinking I might listen to the Tortured Poets Department anthology because I was looking at it and it's got like twice the amount of songs as the regular version, and I did want to hear about all those cringe bars that people were talking about, and I didn't want to miss any of them by just listening to the regular version. So I know I said at the beginning I'd listen to the regular version only and no deluxe editions, but for the last album I might listen to the deluxe edition just because I don't want to miss out on any of those cringe bars that even the Swifties were like, oh, this is too cringe for me. Because from what the fucking cringy ass shit I've listened to so far, I really want to know what the Swifties thought was cringe. Because it can't get much worse than this. Anyway, I think I gotta go get some water. What is up? I'm back for the last day of this challenge because I have one album left, and that is the Tortured Poets Society, I think it is. I actually haven't pulled it up yet, but you may be wondering, oh my god, have you been wearing that exact same shirt this whole time for the past 2 sit-throughs? Do you not fucking shower and change your clothes? Well, I do that, actually. This shirt just hasn't been that dirty because I've only been sleeping in it, and I've been switching it out for my work shirt for whenever I need to go to work. So I'm actually going to change it soon. Don't worry about your little bum about that. Because I also went on a hike earlier today. I'm kind of sweaty. So after I do this, I'm going to take a shower. So don't you worry about that. All right, I'm yapping. Let's get into this album. Okay, I finished the last album, the Tortured Poets Department anthology, and honestly, maybe I should have gone with the shorter version because most of the really cringe songs were in the beginning. But just like for the last album, I took a lot of notes just for you guys. I only took 2 note cards worth of notes for all the other albums, and I have 3 here just for this one because I there was a lot of cringe lines in here that I wanted to point out to you guys. So in the song Fortnite, which she called the song Fortnite, so there's a line that's the song is like about her trying to wanting to kill her neighbor for delivering them flowers, but then she changes it to wanting to kill the wife of a guy. I don't even. It's not, I don't think it's even stated if it's a guy she likes or not. She just wants to kill her because her songs are super vague. So I have no idea why she wants to kill her, but she just does. So we're just gonna have to accept that. And also, I was kind of playing the first Fallout game, so I don't know the names of a lot of the songs because I got off Spotify, so I wasn't looking at it when I wrote them down. But there's another line where she said, smoked, then ate 7 bars of chocolate when describing her boyfriend in an endearing way, by the way, not as if that's like some fat ass fucking disgusting ass shit. And then fell asleep like a tattooed golden retriever because she was like, he had his head on her lap and she was like stroking him. Weird to compare someone to a tattooed golden retriever specifically. Like, obviously, your boyfriend has tattoos, and that's why she's saying that, but you could have just said golden retriever because nobody wants to think of a golden retriever whose owner tattooed them. That's weird. Number 4. Oh yeah, this one was weird as fuck. Okay, so there was one song on here where it was like she was kidnapped by aliens or something, and she like low-key got wet from that experience or something. This is a line from that song. Do experiments on me and called me the chosen one. So more main character narcissism. Left me naked and alone in a field. So literally like border like textbook abduction stuff here. And I'm like, and I wrote in parentheses, in love with an alien question mark, because what the fuck even is this song? It's not you would think like the alien thing's a metaphor for like a guy that's really spaced out or something, but she goes into a lot of detail for like really specific alien stuff. Makes me think this bitch really thinks she was abducted by an alien and she got her coochie wet from that experience, which is just fucking weird. Next we have oh yeah, stood on the altar waiting for you, but the line is also followed by something about like sacrifice or something. So it was like not a wedding altar, it was like a sacrificial altar. And then she says some shit about like sacrificing her to the old gods. Like, is this bitch schizo now or a Satanist? Like, what the fuck is this shit? Another line is, I'm having his baby. And then she basically just goes, lol, JK. You should have seen your face. I don't know if you knew this, Taylor, but I actually don't give a fuck about you or your personal life. This was my facial expression when you said that. So that was also pretty stupid. Like, prideful enough to think people give a shit. You make music. We don't give a shit. Like, I would say I have been saying, like, I want to hear more about her personal life and her songs, not these vague ass stories, but we really don't give a shit about your personal life because you're so bad at explaining it in songs. I mean, I'm sure some, like, diehard Swifties do, but, like, that's every fan base. Like, nobody really cares. You're not pulling a fast one on us. I wasn't going, like, Taylor Swift is having a baby with that one football player. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Nobody was doing that shit, bro. Hell no. Another line was, oh yeah, more lines about doing childish shit, which is something that's throughout all of Taylor's music. Like, you're a grown woman, but you're still talking about doing shit like swinging on swings at the park, which is weird. She mentioned swings, another part of the album too, where she's like, you had your favorite spot on the swing or something. Like, you trying to date a grade schooler? What the fuck are you talking about? She has another She has another weird bar that says, "My friends all smell like weed or babies." So I don't really see what the connection between those two things are. So I'm just gonna move on. I just wrote nice feature for this song. So the song where it says "My friends smell like weed and babies," apparently that song had a nice feature. Um. Also, I wrote in my notes, Taylor Taylor's voice is so like airy. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but like it always sounds like she's about to yawn. It's so weird. It's like that's what it sounds like while she's singing. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but her voice is so airy. It's like she's just winding up to a yawn every time she sings. It's not very. That's why I think that's probably why I wrote nice feature, because I actually got to listen to real singing. So that's probably what that was. Um, for the ninth song on the album, I'm pretty sure I just wrote this one is okay, but take that with a grain of salt because I was kind of not keeping track of the which order these were in very well. So for 10, I had a shit ton of notes because she said some weird shit in whatever song this one was. She said, "I'm not naming the specific songs because as if you're gonna fucking listen to this shit, you don't want to, trust me. But leap through the gallows and levitate down the street. Who's afraid of me? You should be. Go back to your corner, you fucking edgelord. Go back to your basement. Go play some fucking RuneScape, you fucking edgelord, bruh. What are you gonna shoot up the school next? Fucking bruh." She also said, "Crash the party like a record scratch when I scream." This isn't that weird of a bar. I was just curious as to why she's screaming in the party. That's weird because the way this is set up, she crashes the party, then immediately starts screaming. So more evidence that Taylor is turning to a schizo. Um, Here's another one. "So tell me everything is not about me, but what if it is?" So more narcissism. Uh, "I want to snarl to show you how much this upset me." This, okay, that line is literally so funny because I don't know if you know this, but like when somebody tries to say some like badass shit, but they're just not a badass, and everyone just thinks they're a loser, they always show like pictures of werewolves when they're making fun of them because they think like, ugh, because werewolves are something like really cringe, edgy people like will see themselves as like because they have like a dark side or something. So the fact that she said snarl is like primo comedy right there. All right, let's keep reading these. Let's see. "You should see the asylum they raised me in." Um, I am gonna show you a picture of Taylor Swift's childhood home right now. Yeah, so just no. I'm just gonna move on from that. All right, there's some more weird bars. Says I can't fix him, and then calls him good boy like a dog. So in this one song, she's talking about how she wants a boyfriend that's like a bad person because she thinks she can fix him, which is a bad idea because first off, why put all that work in? And second of all, free will exists, right? Humans aren't just like robots you can reprogram. Not very easily, at least from my experience. So, any woman with this ideology, you should probably, for your own safety, just not pick guys that are dangerous on purpose. Because, well, do I really have to explain why are y'all that retarded? I'm just gonna move on. Okay, this I wrote for notes on one of the songs that it was like about being in love with the Holy Ghost or something. A lot of stuff about being in love with ghosts in this one. I don't really fucking know what that was about. It was weird. I also I think in parentheses, so obviously I was pretty fucking confused about that one. Oh yeah, in another song she said I can read your mind, and she also said laughing about being miserable. She was laughing about being miserable, which is very cringe. because that's like the same vein as people who say like, I may be depressed, but at least I gave you a sense of humor. Um, and those people are always the most unfunny people I've ever met. So, same vein as that. Let's move on. Here's another line. I want to sell my house, burn my clothes, and hire an exorcist to exorcise me, even if I die screaming. What the fuck? This is something that like a death metal band of all women would say, and she ain't that. She's a shitty pop artist. I don't know why she keeps trying to act like a badass, as if you didn't just make a shit ton of money as a child and then never have to do any work except making music, which is like a pretty easy job because you have like a whole year to make one album. So that's like what, a song every month? That's not a very hard job. So and that's the same thing like the you should have seen the asylum I grew up in. Bitch, we knew you grew up in a mansion in a small town, bruh. Like you literally mentioned it all throughout all of your albums. We get the "You're a small town girl," but like that is not that doesn't mean that you grew up in an asylum. Like holy shit, you're literally one of the most privileged people I can think of off the top of my head. Like shut the hell up. It's so annoying. Um let's see what else was there. Oh yeah, there's another line called "Once you fix your face, I'm going in." I okay, her songs are so vague and about nothing. It's really hard to like figure out what the fuck she's even talking about because it's like you think that it's like she's just mentioning like 5% of a situation that's going on and we're all just supposed to pick that up because I'm just like who the fuck are you talking about and why are you being so rude to them? You're just calling them ugly as fuck. It's like once you fix your face, I'll be back for you. Like is because their personality's good? Well, guess what, bitch? Yours isn't. You just called this guy ugly for no reason. Like and you want him to date you? Like you think he'd want you after you say something shit like that? Like what the fuck? What the fuck? It's more just narcissism and pride. So let's move on to the next one. Yeah, she says she has a cold heart some like multiple times in this album. Very cringe. Calling yourself like someone with a cold heart. The only person I've ever heard do that in a way that didn't sound cringy as fuck is MF Doom. And even then, it was like bordering on the line of cringe, even when he said it. And he is cool as fuck. So someone who's really, really not cool, like Taylor Swift saying they have a cold heart, just makes me think of like a really skinny kid in middle school with no friends that thinks he's like a sigma alpha male that is the most attractive being on earth and he's actually just an incel. That's what I think of Taylor when she says shit like that. It's like that is the image that pops in my head. Oh yeah, this one's a pretty funny bar. She says touch me while your friends play Grand Theft Auto. Um I don't think I should have to explain that one. It's pretty cringe and stupid. Honestly, if you're wondering why I'm not like laughing at these right now, she's kind of says cringe stuff like this throughout all of her music. It's just she multiplied the amount of cringe stuff she said in this album, and she also made it way more like schizo-esque with her cringiness. I don't know what the deal with that was. Maybe she's just like doing that shit that Kanye does, where she's just like baiting for attention by acting crazy. Unless Kanye actually is crazy, who knows? But this is just weird as fuck, to be honest. So here's the next one. Oh yeah, there was this weird line where she was like, me and my friends used to." Okay, first off, this is one of the worst cases of her songs having no rhythm or rhyme because she says, "Me and my friends used to we used to play a game where we would think of a year we wanted to go back to," which she literally just says it like that, like no, like exactly how I said it, but with her voice, maybe like slightly differently because I'm trying to remember it, but like she literally just says it. She's not singing or anything. And she said, "I would pick like the 1920s or something, but without the racists." And she said, "And without the racist and getting married off for the highest bid." What the fuck is she talking about here? I'm really confused. Wife auctions were not a thing, like ever, throughout any point in American history. Like, what the fuck is she talking about here? Is she saying that she would be a black person back then and then she would get auctioned off to be married? I don't think that slaves would usually get married to their masters, even if they did have sex like for children and shit. I think that that was like a taboo thing back then. So that can't be what she's talking about. Maybe she's saying that because women were treated with less rights back then, that that's what it would feel like, but that's still such a confusing way to convey that. I'm sure a lot of other people didn't understand that because I'm still left in the dark here about what the fuck she meant by that. I'm going to go with my favorite interpretation, though, is that it doesn't have any meaning and she's actually just schizophrenic now because I think that would be funny. Um, Oh yeah, there's a bar where she says, "I wrote 1,000 songs that you find uncool," because she's describing what her boyfriend thought of her music or something. And I've said truer bars have not been said by Taylor Swift earlier on in this video, but that is the truest bar. I find all of your songs uncool. I find one of them like semi slightly, maybe like 1% kind of good, and the rest of them are dookie, to be honest, in my opinion. Oh yeah, another thing she says is I look in people's windows and it wasn't okay. A lot of these may sound weird out of context. Trust me, the context does not make them less weird. They're still weird in context. The whole song's literally about her looking through people's windows. She literally like describes herself as like someone who creeps around people's houses to look in their windows to try to see if her ex is in there. Like she's actually like just talking about how she's a stalker in this song. It's weird as hell. I think Taylor may be going insane, but then again, there is a lot of fake stories in her songs. I think there's a lot of fake stories in her songs, so maybe these are all just fake. But if these are real, then she needs to go to a mental asylum or something. She needs to be is incarcerated. Is that the word? Whatever. So yeah, those are all my notes for this part of the album. Sorry if it's a little like unentertaining watching me just monotonely read through them, but there are so many cringe bars in this album. I could not possibly remember all of them. So I have to keep looking back at my paper. But yeah, that was Taylor Swift's whole discography. Obviously, I didn't listen to it in one sitting like I wanted to. So this is more of like a review. Like, is Taylor Swift's music really as shit as everyone says? Um, this is what my opinion on what everyone says about her music if they aren't a Swiftie. They either think it's mid or they think it's pop garbage. And to those people is that valid? Is that a valid stance to take? I would say yes. She does have Red and 1989 are both decent albums, but the rest of her discography is really bad. So I do think that that's a valid stance to take. Even for her decent albums, they're not that good. So now the reason why do people say it's pop garbage is like not because all pop's garbage, like her production's good. I think the reason people call it pop garbage is because of the lyrics and themes in her music is so repetitive, basic, and vague that that's what makes it pop garbage because it is so vague as to appeal to the most people as possible that there's zero soul in the music. Not only that, but Taylor herself is a very flat singer, so that doesn't help much with that. And I also think her voice is very unique, but it's not like in a good way because it's just so flat. Like she can't hit any of those good notes. The moment any features that she had on this, like I liked the features better than her every single time because they all had better singing voices than her and they had range. She sings all the songs in the same way. So yes, I do think Taylor Swift's music's pop garbage. The reason I think her decent albums are not good albums is probably because of her voice, because the production is way better on those albums and the lyrics aren't super cringe and bad. Now, I'm going to rank every single one of Taylor Swift's albums on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being like the best album ever, so we don't have to worry about getting anywhere near there. And 1 being like a bunch of pots and pans clanging together, barely even music. So let us start with her very first self-titled album. I think it's a self-titled album, right? Yeah. Her very first album, Taylor Swift. This one was okay. It was just very boring. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10 because it's just okay. Her next album was Fearless. This album was actually okay. Like it wasn't like good or like even decent, but it was just under the cusp. It was just like on the cusp of being decent. So I'm gonna give that a 4. The next album we have is Speak Now. This one was unlistenable garbage. This one's a 1. This is the only one that's going to be on this list, by the way. It was that bad. Like none of the other albums, they're not good, but none of them were this bad. This was pure garbage. I don't know how anyone that listened to this was like, it was terrible. It was literally so terrible. What is the next album? Next album is Red. Okay, so now we're at one of the decent albums. Red is fine. It's perfectly serviceable. It's got some catchy beats on it, and the production's a lot better, so I give it like a 5. It's a 5 out of 10 album. Next we have 1989. This album is also like a 5. It's a perfectly fine album. Nothing really wrong with it. It's just okay. All right, on to the next album. I think it's Reputation, right? Hold on. Yeah, Reputation. I'm gonna give this album a 2. It was really cringy. The production was kind of weird and like experimental, but because the rest of her voice and her lyrics are so bad, it didn't work. It was really cringe. Like her lyrics are so cringe, it's really hard to sit through some of these. That's why I had to take such long breaks in between. Next album is Lover. This song was like Reputation, but instead of being incredibly cringe, it's like kind of cringe and really boring. It was like Speak Now levels of boring, but without like the extremely infuriating parts of Speak Now. So I'm going to give this album also a 2. It was like on the same level of boring as Reputation. Now let's get to Folklore. I remember thinking this album had decent production. It was basically the same to sit through as fucking, what was the second one again? Whatever that one was. It was about the same level as that. I'd give it like a 3.5 because I still think that other one was better. But next album is, it's like Everlong, right? Or Evermore. Hold on. There's so much shit to scroll through. Evermore. This one was also okay. It was worse than Folklore, though. This one's a 3 out of 10. Another 3 out of 10 is like the baseline for a Taylor album because on average they're bad. So next album, I think the next album is the Tortured Poets, whatever. Nope. Next album's Midnights. This one was really bad. I think it's hard to actually put this one at a 2 because it was just really bad. It was boring. Lyrics were almost as offensive as Speak Now. And okay, in terms of like straight up infuriating or like straight up psychopathic or offensive lyrics, the Tortured Poets Society does have more of them than Speak Now. However, the reason why Tortured Poets Society doesn't get points taken off for that is because I think Taylor's actually just insane and all those stories are made up. Not because I'm pretty sure the Speak Now story might be real. That's the only reason that it's getting so low. All right, the Midnights the Midnights album, I'll give it like a 1.7 out of 10. It was pretty bad. Next up is it's the Tortured Poets Society now, right? So many remakes to scroll through. Yep, the Tortured Poets Department. This one, honestly, because of how cringy it was and how many crazy lines there were to keep me entertained, I think I put this one at a 4. Like, honestly. Like, obviously, Taylor probably tried on this album, like, feels like the least, to be honest, but it was entertaining just because of how schizo it was, and because of that, I'm giving it a 4. Actually, no, it really doesn't deserve a 4 because it just isn't really good. Not that like a 4 is good, like a 5 would be like fine. Like, I give it a 3.5. Tortured Poets Department is like a 5. It's the Tortured Poets Department is a really fitting name for this album because it is just really, really like trying to be so deep and so like metaphorical and so fucking all that shit. And it's just not. It's just shallow and schizo. Shallow, schizo. That's what you get out of that. And also cringe. Like, touch me while your friends play fucking like GTA. What was that? Anyway, is Taylor Swift really that bad? Yes, she is really that bad. She can make good music, but for some reason she never decides to do it. So this was my listening to Taylor Swift's entire discography video. Let me know if you want to see more music review content because I have a few artists in mind where I'm going to listen to their whole discography. If you want, I can do more shitty white woman pop artists. I can also do some generally unknown in the public eye artists that I know. So let me know if that's what you want. I'm glad that I never have to listen to any of her songs again, though, because they're bad. All right, see ya.